its function as a communication system, language also is a marker of cultural and personal identity. In this lecture, we will examine language dialects and toponyms. This is important to geographers to gain a better understanding of spatial patterns of dialect usage and how people identify themselves with place names. As we examine deeper into each language, we notice languages can have its own variations. Geographers are interested in the boundaries and spatial patterns of these variations or dialect usage, and study this in a field called dialect geography. Hans Corinth helped pioneer the study of dialect geography in the United States beginning in the 1930s. By mapping the usage of words, he was able to identify isoglosses, which are lines that mark a boundary of such word usage, and more specifically in the patterns of the word usage along the East Coast. The maps on the left show some examples of dialect geography. The map on the left in the white box is based on research during the 1930s and 40s, which presents a word geography by showing where other terms for pancake prevailed. Because no two words have the exact same distribution, their isoglosses never exactly coincide. The map on the right in the white box is a result of mapping the isoglosses of hundreds of words, which enables us to see where the isoglosses clustered. Using these patterns, 18 speech areas were noted along the East Coast and grouped into 3 raw dialect regions, the North, the Midland, and the South, that are still recognized today. The map on the right shows major dialect regions of the United States as it is today. Differences in pronunciation also help distinguish among the dialect regions in the United States. When someone speaks a dialect of our language that has a different pronunciation from our own dialect, we perceive that person as having an accent. Most people think they do not speak with an accent, but the truth is that we all have an accent. We simply don't hear our own accent as an accent. These maps are other examples of dialect geography. The map on the left depicts generic names of soft drinks. Once Southerners referred to soft drinks as cold drinks. Today, many Southerners use Coke to refer to any kind of soft drink, a practice influenced by the fact that the Coca-Cola Company was established in Atlanta, Georgia. The map on the right depicts the word usage for y'all and you guys. Y'all and you guys are respectively Southern and Northern terms. As this map shows, both terms have diffused beyond their hearths. Because y'all has historically been negatively perceived outside of the South, the term's diffusion is intriguing. African Americans have also greatly influenced the way English is spoken, especially in the United States, due to the different ways of speaking that developed among slave populations on plantations across the South. The origins of African American English are complex, and English was used differently from whites, partially as a form of linguistic resistance to their oppression, and also to communicate with one another, but not to be understood by their owners. African American English developed some of its own vocabulary and pronunciations different than that of the Standard English. It is interesting to note that while African American English originated in the South, it spread throughout the United States during the Great Migration that occurred in the 20th century as African Americans moved from the South to mainly northern U.S. cities. Many others today have adopted aspects of African American English. Some pronunciations in African American English include not pronouncing the G in words ending in ing, dropping the R when it occurs between vowels, losing the L sound after vowels as in help, which would be hep, not pronouncing the S after phrases like he, she goes, which would be he, go, she go, and a practice associated with the verb to be. Instead of saying she is working all day, it would be she be working all day. The photo shows Sean Carter, better known by his stage name Jay-Z, said to be derived from the word jazzy. The lyrics of many African American hip-hop artists illustrates highly creative linguistic practices. Other expressive words that have become widely adopted are words that include funky, chill out, high five, fat, and bling bling. Another similar phenomena emerged with the Latino community as well, and specifically with Mexicans. The term Chicano derives from Mexican Mexicano and is frequently associated with Mexican Americans and with Mexicans who learn English as a second language. A distinctive pronunciation in Chicano English is using an S sound instead of a Z sound, so crazy and his sound like crazy and hiss. Another example is omitting the word have in certain instances. Instead of I have been on campus all day, you might hear I've been on campus all day. Some words that have diffused into English are enchiladas, frijoles, tortillas, rodeo, and mesa. Language is closely related to identity as well as social and political power. This is most prevalent in what we name places called toponyms. Geographers study toponyms not only for the insights they provide about territorial possession and political power, but also because they can provide clues about settlement history. Many places, especially in the United States and Canada, have incorporated Native American words and meanings. Toponyms also consist of identifiable generic and specific elements. The generic element identifies the feature like a mountain, city, color, etc., and the specific element provides more descriptive information. For example, in the toponym Black Mesa, black is the generic element and mesa is the specific element. The photos show an example of how toponyms are used. Street names have a practical, symbolic, and commemorative value as shown in the photo at the top. The photo at the bottom left depicts a monument commemorating the defense of Leningrad, Russia against the Nazis in World War II. However, when the Soviet Union dissolved, the citizens voted to restore the name of the city to St. Petersburg as it was before. The map of India also shows the restoration of Indian names that were changed during the British colonialization period. Please pause the video and answer the following. Compare and contrast African American English and Chicano English and include its origins, pronunciation, and vocabulary. In your own words, using the text as a guide, be thorough and specific with your answer.